Day. This is Short Sky and Beer Baron for Short Shifts, coming at you on an unspecified day of the week from unspecified locations in the great state of New Jersey. All right, Beer Baron, we got a topic at hand. We have a short amount of time. We're going to talk about ticket sales. Where do you buy them? Where do you get them where do you get them originally? Where do you get them on the secondary market? Do you trust the Facebook groups that are out there? What are your thoughts, Beer Baron? Start us off.
Honestly, I feel like one of the things I will never, ever trust is buying a ticket from a scalper that is standing outside of the arena. I always feel like every time I walk by one of those guys and they're like, "Hey, tickets," I'm like, no thanks, officer. You know, I don't feel like getting arrested for buying a scalp ticket outside of the arena. I've used secondary market, StubHub, things like that before, and usually have like pretty decent results. During the last deep playoff run in 2012. I ended up getting a few different games that, using StubHub, and they were actually relatively priced. So it was good. It was not a bad experience, but for the most part, I feel like buying directly is probably your best bet. You're going to get the best value. I mean, in the sense of like when the team is good. When the team's bad, secondary market all day, all along, because you'll buy tickets for pretty cheap.
Yeah, and I'd agree with you. I mean, I've purchased tickets in all manner of ways, except for a scalper, just like you. I've also gotten tickets from friends. I've purchased off people on Facebook groups. I've purchased secondary market on StubHub. Purchased directly from the team. I've done it all. I don't mind purchasing directly from the team. And I know on the secondary market, if you're willing to wait until well later in the day, you can probably get a pretty decent price at about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. That's what I did for the playoff game last year. For the first home playoff game, I wanted to go, and I just kind of waited and I watched and waited and I watched. And it was later on in the day, someone was looking to sell and sell very close to face value, because I at least had knowledge of face value, which is always good to know. The ticket you're buying is what's face value, so you know what you're looking at as far as what you're paying. And got one for face value. Which I felt very lucky and very grateful for as well. So it was a pretty good deal. What I do like on StubHub, though, which I constantly look, and I have not yet bought anything, is sometimes when the Devils are playing as they are, which you and I both know it's not all that great, you can sometimes get really awesome seats for nothing.
Yeah, which is
for dirt cheap. Fun. Yeah, for opening night, for example, there were suite level boxes, suite level seats for like $50. That's not bad.
Not bad at all. I mean, sometimes it works out in your favor, where if your team is not playing well, you can get some pretty decent seats. I've gotten seats down low of like real close to the glass for $65, and I mean the tickets itself at face value is like $125 or something like that. So I mean, it ends up working out sometimes, but I mean at the same time, you also have fans that try to rip off other fans. And especially when your team is doing well or your team's playing well, you get fans that try to, pump up the volume, pump up the value on their ticket and the volume. Who knows? But they try to like really, gouge the other fans, and I can't. I hate that. Honestly, it's like one of my biggest pet peeves. If you're gonna sell the ticket, I know if you're a season ticket holder, like my parents are, if you don't want your tickets dead, the Devils will actually buy them back.
Yes,
just do it that way. Do it that way. Don't be a douche. I mean, some people are like, "Well, I can make so much money on selling this ticket." I'm like, then don't buy them in the first place. I don't know. I just have such a gripe against that.
Yeah, I mean, we run into the issue. Different team, different sport with the Red Bulls. People trying to sell tickets within our section, and our section is sort of a specific type of seating. It's basically general admission, and you're going to have an obstructed view naturally with what happens. And there's always someone that buys a ticket and sells it for like $100, or at least lists it for $100. And I can tell how many times we've been trying to, we've all been tempted to all pitch in like $5 and buy it just to out whoever that person is, just because, I agree with you. If it's a big game and, you're looking to just hose someone else, especially if they're of your team, that's just not cool. I understand capitalism. I understand supply and demand and all that stuff. I totally get it, and I definitely support it, being my own business owner as well. But you know what? if someone's going to sell it, just don't try not to screw someone out of a deal. Try not to screw someone over too much.
Now, have you ever bought a fake ticket? Have you ever gotten scammed? I got scammed once.
Knock on wood, I have not gotten scammed, and I would like to keep that way, but please describe that experience of being scammed.
Well, first of all, it was a horrible, horrible experience. This is a long time ago. This is I think I was 19 years old at the time. I'm now 36, so that tells you how long ago that was. We were a few of us. There's about like 3 or 4 of us that went on. The internet was still in its young infancy days. We went on some website and we bought tickets that we thought were legit. We drove all the way out to Continental just to find out that they weren't. And I personally gave money to my friend who is lucky enough to use his father's credit card at the time. So his father was not too pleased, to be honest, that we got hosed on those tickets. But the worst part is we got all the way out there and we were excited to go to the game, and then we couldn't even walk into the building. So it was a pretty crappy feeling. And I think if my memory serves me right, we listened to the game in the parking lot for a little while and then ended up driving home. But none of us had the money to kind of buy them in the box office. It was just overall not a good experience.
And that's really where you have the benefit with the official secondary markets, like with Ticket Exchange, with StubHub, where you at least have that kind of safety net where if they don't work out, you can complain to the site and they'll do something, at least a refund if it's not, if the ticket doesn't work or if it's a scam. Generally, you have that protection there. But buying off someone on Facebook, that's where you run into that issue of possibly getting scammed, and hopefully this doesn't happen to any of our listeners. Hopefully it never happens to you again. I hope it never happens to me. But Beer Baron, it looks like we're out of time for today's short shifts. Yep. Any last word and any last 1 or 2 words about ticket sales?
Hey, be kind to your fellow fan. Don't try to rip anybody off.
Absolutely. And it's even better if you have a ticket, not to sell your stuff for your money, but you know what? If you can give it to or sell it to a friend for face value, get another Devil fan in that building, especially against local teams like the Rangers or Flyers, even better.
Or somebody that has never been to a game.
Agreed. So for Beer Baron and myself, Shorts Guy, this has been Short Shifts on an unmentioned day. Until next time, let's go Devils.